Hello everybody and welcome back to the Kansas City Royals franchise here at MLB The Show 23. I am DFG, and although we are 26 and 32, we do still have an outside chance of getting into the playoffs as we head towards the draft here today. With the draft coming up and also the trade deadline coming up, I am looking through a roster to see who we can get rid of or who we might be able to bring in. Even though we can still make the playoffs, at the same time, we're probably not going to. So I think we're going to be more sellers at the deadline. The one guy I've kind of been looking at, I've already got Jordan Lyles on the trading block, but I've also thinking about Nicky Lopez and getting rid of him. It seems that we do have Jason Vosler, who's only a year older, and they're pretty similar in terms of overall. Today we're going to take on, I was thinking about taking on Cincinnati, but I think we're going to go somewhere else as we face the Yankees there and win 1-0. Brady Singer possibly went the entire game there, and the Guardians are offering us a trade. Zach Plesac for Jordan Lyles, who I said is on our trading block. Plesac has done significantly better than Lyles, and he's younger and higher rated, so I don't understand why they'd want to trade that. That's just a bad trade. We're going to decline that. This is the game we just won against New York. A 7-hit each, but we actually ended up getting the win. He didn't go the entire game. Barlow did have to come in and close it out, but Singer did do 8 innings and 1 out. 8 1/3 innings, which is pretty good. And this time Barlow has another chance to save. This time he fails to do so. And now we've got our scouting assignments. Now, we do have the second pick in the draft. The guy I would like to pick would be Gilberto Urban. He's a pitcher from the Dominican Republic, and he's just a guy who can kind of do it all. He's got some problems with walks, and his strikeouts aren't great, but he does have pretty much everything else that you'd want. Tommy Show is another option if Urban is taken. I do think we go pitcher in this draft. Now, he's probably a little bit more, probably doesn't have the upside of Urban, but still very good. Though we do have options at first base. Rex Moss is one, not great defensively, but really good offensively. He could be another guy that we could pick. He's number 4 on our draft board. Urban and Tommy Cho are 1 and 2 respectively. And Ken Daly is number 6. He's more of a contact hitter, but is way better. He's predicted to be way better defensively. So take your pick there. Personally, I think we go pitcher, probably Urban, but Tommy Cho is a good choice too if he's taken in the only one pick before us. A guy that we've actually seen, or at least picked up on that some other teams may not have, is a closing pitcher, Michael Dudek. Now, he's considered to be better now than he is in the future, and Scott Barlow isn't going to be around forever, so Dudek could be a guy that we bring in and promote within the next year or two, depending on if we want to trade Barlow. Lamont Littleton is another guy I'm really excited about. Very good defensively, has potential that's sky high. Not fully scouted, but I do think he could be a very, very good player. Another player I like for later rounds is Josh Grant. He's currently going to take a few years to get to that potential. And at 21 years of age, his timeline might be a little bit shorter than some of the other players, but I do think he's a solid player. And as we said as well, Salvador Perez is another player who's not getting any younger, and Andres Rosales is in this draft. Now, he is a bit older, but he's a very good power hitter, very good defensive catcher, someone we can pick up in the later rounds. I was thinking about doing the Cincinnati game, but now I think I want to do the Baltimore game. Although Cincinnati are not doing particularly fantastic, I think we will simulate through here and play the Baltimore game. Get through the Cincinnati and Cleveland series, and then get to Baltimore, and then we'll get to the second Cleveland series. So we did lose. We won one, lost one. We weren't able to get any runs on the board here against Cincinnati as they took a 1-0 lead and kept it. So a good outing by James Caprillion anyway. We're going to sim through here as the Mariners have given us an offer. Taylor Trammell, a center fielder. I mean, Jordan Lyles isn't going to get much playing time. I don't see the point really, of taking that trade. He's not going to get much playing time. That being said, there are a few teams that would be buyers, and the Cardinals are one. And I think that of all the teams that could trade for Lyles, the Cardinals probably could. Their pitching is pretty bad, to be fair. It's 25th in the league. So he could probably fit into their starting rotation quite well. He'd be the 5th starter ahead of Steven Matz and Jake Woodford. And would give them a pretty good option for them. And his contract is up at the end of the year, so it will be a short term. His overall has been dropping all year. He's been having a rough year with us, and I think it's time we move on from him. But he could be a good veteran arm for someone who's going to reach the playoffs, and he's just not done it for us. Last year he did all right. I mean, he is winning games, but he's losing games as well. Now, it's tough really because he is doing okay. It's just that ERA is the problem. But if the Cardinals were going to trade us someone, who would they trade? Josh Baez was the first guy that I saw, and Randy McGee is another guy. There's two guys who are in the outfield that I would be interested in. I do think Randy McGee is probably too good at 70 overall B potential. He's probably way too good to take that. I don't think that's a fair trade. They do have Jordan Walker, of course, but I do think at this point taking Randy McGee off them would be unfair. I don't think Jordan Lyles is worth a B potential 70 overall 22-year-old who's got pretty good offensive capabilities. I mean, he's DH ready now if you were really needing one. And he's doing pretty well down at AAA. Now, he's not doing amazingly where you'd be looking to, bring him up. But Randy McGee is someone who's going to be there for the future. As I said, they do have Jordan Walker, so maybe they would want to trade him. But if I was going to trade for someone in this, it would be Josh Baez. I just think at 69 overall C potential, he's in that Drew Waters range of overall and potential and he's so much younger, so he's got a lot, and he's very good defensively, something that I think people overlook. He's not doing great at AAA, so he probably is a few years away from the majors. So that's an option for us to trade if we were going to go and get something from the Cardinals. We are going to take on the Baltimore Orioles. We take on John Means with James Caprillion, who had a really hot start to the season, but he's cooled down now. We had to make some changes to the starting lineup here, so we'll see how we get on. James Caprillion started off really, really well, and he's kind of come down to earth a little bit, but still doing okay. 4.14 ERA, and honestly, someone I think was a pretty good buy. I mean, during free agency, I'm pretty happy with the way the way he's played so far. So let's see how he gets on here against the Orioles as he opens up on the mound here today. And that one's grounded straight to Pasquantino, and that's a good start for James Caprillion. 1 up, 1 down. 1-1 for Gunnar Henderson. He's hitting .347. He's going to improve that there with a nice hit down the first base line. And he's going to get a double out of it. Ian Happ is next. And that one straight to Pasquantino. Doesn't feel that quite right, but does get the out anyway at first base. Pasquantino, of course, playing first base today instead of his usual DH roles. We've got a full count against Mountcastle, and he will walk as we've got runners at the corners now. A little bit of trouble here for Caprillion. Gets a sinker in there for the second strike. And Rutschman almost gets that down the left field line, but it's foul. And it looks like Pollock's going to take care of it, and he will indeed. Caprillion gets out on the top of the first. And And the leadoff man is out, but here is Randall Grichuk as he gets a nice hit there, but he's late. And it goes foul there. That's a sweeping curve that you want to hit right over the middle from John Means. And comes back with an absolute glorious sweeping curve right under the zone. And now Grichuk, who I've played better with, or have had fun using, though he's not really performing this year. 230 average. Can't tell you how many home runs he has off the top of my head, but I think he's doing okay. I would say in the mid-teens. But now it's 2-2. And Grichuk gets pretty poor contact and flies out to center. AJ Pollock, another one of our free agent acquisitions, who's not really doing his best work as he pops out to the first baseman, and that's the end of the first. Santander is able to sneak one through past the second baseman, and he gets on base. Now Ramon Urias is going to get a single. That's 2 singles straight off the bat here in the second. Brilliant in more trouble here. And not able to get the man at third after a wild pitch against James McCann. So now we've got runners at second and third. Nobody out yet. But Caprillion strikes out McCann in his next pitch. Oh, just under the zone with that circle change. That could have been a nice one there, but it's speared at shortstop. Lopez catches Holiday's strike there. But Cedric Mullins is going to come through with a shot down the right field line. And Mullins gets in with a double. 2-2 now. 2 down. Gunnar Henderson obviously very high in his percentage of batting, but strikes out there, top of the second down. Salvador Perez here. That's a pretty good hit. Blocked by John Means, and he gets him out at first. I thought that was going to be our first hit of the day, but no. And Nicky Lopez is going to ground out the third to end the inning. Means has been getting away with it. First man up walk here is Ryan Mountcastle is going to get something down the third base line, and Ryan Mountcastle is going to get to second, and Baltimore are going to get their third run of the game by a mistake by Pollock out in left field.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
Now it's Adley Rutschman. Nice curve ball inside for the strikeout. And Anthony Santander will be next down with a fastball up high for his 4th of the day. And Urias is going to ground to first, and that'll end the top of the third, but damage could be done. We have not done well in the batter's box, and Michael Massey is going to fly out to end the third. They haven't got a hit yet, and it's the third inning, now the 4th inning. Now Caprillion gets the strikeout of James McCann, and Melendez gets the throw to first. Caprilion's done well, but this is smashed by Cedric Mullins. Waters is back, and he catches it. Drew Waters with a nice defensive play, catching the fly out from Cedric Mullins after he smashed one to center field, just short of going over the fence. Pretty well there, Waters. Up against the wall. 106 feet covered as he makes the catch to keep it 3-zip. Now it's Henderson. And That one's high. Now 2-0, and runner's going to take off. Hit and run here as Gunnar Henderson smashes one into left center field. It's Pollock who's out there. And that's going to be run number 4 and another double for Gunnar Henderson. Ian Happ up next, and Lopez does well to pick that, and that'll end the top of the 4th. Another terrible inning for us hitting. Pollock is going to ground out the 3rd to end the 4th. We've been poor offensively today. Not even got a hit yet. With that, for James Caprillion, Ryan Yarbrough is going to come in. One of our better relievers so far this year. Done well in the outings he's had. But not got off to a good start here. Ryan Mountcastle going to get a single. Just past in between the 2 bases. Diving opportunity, but couldn't get there. That's a really nice sweeping curve down and inside that Ramon Urias can't seem to get, but that one's outside. So it's 1-2 now. That time it's a circle change, and it's a low, and that's ball 2. These are decent pitches by Yarbrough, and the cutter. You can't throw much better than that. Strike 3, you're out. Salvador Perez. That one's one you want to hit right down the middle. If there's ever a guy to get you out of the slump, it would be Salvador Perez. And he's 0 for 1 here. That was a chance there. There's another ball that he could have smashed there, Salvador Perez. Giving John Means some real chances to get away with it there, but not for the 3rd time. Into the bullpen, Salvador Perez gets us on the board with his 12th home run of the season. You may get one pass us once, you may get the passes twice, but you won't do it 3 times. Salvador Perez crushes the last pitch. And we get on the board with our first hit, a solo home run shot. 0 for 1 now for Vosler, and he's going to ground to first, and that's all we're going to get.
He's out.
Not a great outing, but nonetheless, we got the board. Austin Cox is coming out of the bullpen next. Had some chances to start, but hasn't done fantastically. And to start his inning, James McCann is going to light one out to left center field, and he's going to say, whatever you can do, we can do just as well. Home run number 1 for James McCann as he smashes one out to left center field, saying, Salvador Perez, you can get a home run, so can I. They return to their 4-run lead. Actually been thinking about sending Cox down to AAA, and Jackson Holiday now is going to get a single back up the middle. And honestly, I think Cox, this could be his last day here at the majors this season. But does look like he's going to get the double play. Not quite. It's only 1 out as Cedric Mullins is able to reach in a fielder's choice. But ends the inning. Ian Happ, strikeout. Michael Massey gets hit here on a 0-2 pitch, so he's going to take his base. Pasquantino has turned his season around, and he gets one and sparks it to left center field, but the left fielder, the man who just sparked one out of into the crowd, was able to catch it, James McCann. And there it is, end of the 6th as we continue to be lackluster on offense. Cox still in there, and Anthony Santander is going to get one into the right center field gap, just under Waters in center field. It's going to be a double for him. Fortunately for Cox, he's able to get through the top of the 7th without any more runs. And Melendez not quite get there, and he's out as well. That's the end of the 7th. Next man out of the bullpen, Jordan Hicks. Another one of our free agent acquisitions, but not done particularly well for us. And that's disappointing given that I thought he could be our best reliever as James McCann once again smashes one. This time it's out for a ground rule double. Cedric Mullins now is going to take his base. So now we've got 2 on, 1 out here at the top of the 8th. But does get Gunnar Henderson for the second out of the inning with a strikeout. And Ian Happ is going to send one back up the middle. And that's probably going to score 2 here. No, just the 1 as Baltimore take a 6-1 lead. Next up is Mountcastle, and Grichuk might be able to make the play here, and he does. That's the top of the 8th done. Talked about having a bad outing offensively. Our defense hasn't been great either, but Nicky Lopez is able to get on base here for our second hit of the day. And Vosler not going to be able to get the double play, but they will get him out. Lopez moves to second. Not many scoring opportunities today, and we're 2 down here again, and there's the strikeout. As we really don't get an opportunity to do anything there. Aroldis Chapman, next one out of the bullpen. Started off pretty poorly this season, but he's got it back on track. There's a splitter to get a strikeout. There's another splitter getting a second strikeout game. Good strikeout the side here against Ramon Urias. However, he grounds the Vosler at third base. Good play, and that'll end the top of the 9th. Bottom of the 9th now, and it's up to us to get 5 runs back. Vinny Pasquantino, first man up. He's able to get on base with a hit. Our 3rd hit of the day. 0-2 now for Grichuk, and he's late. Bautista with a triple-digit fastball up high. Bobby Witt Jr. is going to come in and pinch hit here. Done pretty well for himself. Got off to a pretty good start. He's kept doing pretty well for us, Bobby Witt Jr. So hope he can continue that. As that slider away is nasty. Now it's 2-2. Right down the middle. Fastball, 101. Triple digits again. Second strikeout. 2-2 for Perez. 2 down. Game on the line. And that fastball is high. Perez needs to keep this rally going. I wouldn't call it a rally, but 3-2 now. He could get base on a walk, but once again, the triple-digit fastball is our nemesis. The Orioles win 6-1. Yeah, John Means had a good game for himself. 7 in the 3rd inning, as we really struggled to really do anything in that game. But we're going to simulate a little bit further here as the Orioles will beat us, it seems, in extra innings. And Waters does get hurt, but that's okay. He will return in a few days, because we've got more scouting to do. Yeah, even though Cox got through those few innings, you know, I just think he's not doing it for us. He's struggled pretty much all season. So I think I'm going to send him down. And the man I want to come up is Ben Kudrna. Done really well all year at AAA. Not really like a guy that I thought was going to come up this season. But with the way he's playing, I think he's the guy to come up. So Ben Kudrna, 21 years old, he's going to make his way up to the Major League roster. Looking at the roster here again, another guy we could consider trading would be Amir Garrett. But he's not really done well. Like, I mean, his walk per 9 rate is sky high. And although I think we could trade him, I don't think anyone would take him. So I'm going to send him down to AAA and find a reliever down there to bring up. I'm going to bring Quiz Quinones up. I think of all the players that deserve to come up, he's the guy to bring up. I was looking at possibly trading Jordan Hicks here, but while I was doing that, I saw that the Cubs, who are also in a run for the playoffs, could use Jordan Lyles. And I think the guy that we could take is Michael Koo. Now, I understand he's got a potential of A. I understand he's 21 years old. But because of how low his overall is, I think that's a fair trade. If we got Michael Koo and maybe a C potential player, and the guy I saw was Owen Cassie, an outfielder. C potential. Lyles isn't great enough for me to get a B potential 70 overall guy. I just don't feel comfortable in doing that because I don't think that's realistic. But I think if anything, getting Owen Cassie and Michael Koo here. Koo obviously being the guy that the real value, his upside is crazy. Even if he is only 21, obviously he's going to have to get really quick development if he wants to make it on the roster. But that will come through, and the Cubs will agree to that trade. So we do bring in Michael Koo, and we do bring in Owen Cassie, as they will go down to our minor league teams. Next, with the draft so close, I'm going to cut this episode short. I was going to keep on going, get to the draft, but I mean, it's probably already going on 30 minutes. Don't want to go too far more. I do want to play the Nationals in our next video, so we will start off with that before we get to the draft. That will be our feature-length episode for the next one. But in that month or so of play, we've kind of fallen out of even having a chance of getting into the wild card conversation. So I think we are going to be sellers, and I think there is going to be more trades for us to do. However, that's all we have time for here, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one, and I hope you guys have a great day. Peace out.